welcome to this week's episode of Angry Army Weekly, the only gaming news show that... And yeah, I did say weekly. I'm sure I won't that up. No. To be fair, it's not my fault that I had to re-record this entire fucking episode. On to the news. Let me start off by saying that no news is not actually good news. I'm talking about Hello Games and No Man's Lie. That's an original joke, right? No? How about, No Man's Hype? No? Come on. There's gotta be an original joke there. All I need is one unique thing to make an original joke and be more original than the game itself. Ah, there it is. Anyway, the worst possible thing they could do is not keeping in contact with the very few fans that they have left, and that's essentially what they've been doing. You know the last thing Sean Murray tweeted? This. In August. Hilariously, it says they're focused on customer support. Hey Sean, step number 1 of providing customer support? Open-ended communication. Okay, so what about Hello Games? They've been pretty much silent since August as well. Except for a patch note tweet on the 23rd and another tweet on the 23rd that linked to a blog post made back at the 3rd of September on their site, which the site is hilariously outdated. The blog post says the following. Hello, after the last few weeks since No Man's Sky released, we've been inundated with feedback and discussion about No Man's Sky. No matter what feedback you give us, you have been heard and we are listening carefully. Thank you. Here's what we've been busy with in the weeks since release. A community/support management team has been brought on board. Support issues raised are being categorized by that team and we are fixing them in order of priority. We've released a bunch of patches for PC and PS4. We've written up patch notes for all those patches. What matters now, as always, is what we do rather than what we say. We're developers, and our focus is first on resolving any issues people have with the game as it is, then on future free updates which will improve, expand, and build on the No Man's Sky universe. This is a labor of love for us, and it is just the beginning. Now I sure hope they have been hard at work on the game because 1, their fans deserve way better than the pile that they got, and 2, they sure as hell haven't been doing anything else. Hell, if you go to their site, the page, the About page, still talks about the game as though it weren't released, talking about pre-ordering it. I truly wish you the best of luck, Sean Murray. I really do. But you gotta meet your fans halfway. Hell, even a fucking step towards them would help. Speaking of games half-baked, according to Daybreak, H1Z1 needs more time to bake before it gets a full release, so it will be in early access and no new release date has been given. They made a blog post on their site which said the following. I'm really proud of how much the team has accomplished over the last 4 weeks, from work going into the arena, the all-new UI, Twitch integration, regional servers, and even some new features. There have been a lot of long days and focused work, and the game has come miles in just the last month. While we've mentioned that there are a lot of new features, systems, and polish coming, I know there is some uncertainty in the community given that many of these features have not yet made it to the test server for you to get your hands on, explore, and provide feedback on. There are a lot of reasons why we have not pushed those features to test, but reading all of your feedback made us recognize that we definitely needed time to test all these new features at scale. I have said before that quality is our top priority, and that continues to be our commitment. As we work through early access and simultaneously shape how the stage development is defined, we also have to resolve the best process to develop a quality live game and also keep our community well informed. You have expectations, we have expectations, and we need to be certain those expectations are in alignment. Ultimately, this means that we are going to let the game bake a bit longer and ensure that you continue to have a voice and are able to provide feedback into the features that you have not had the opportunity to play. We will still release a massive update on September 20th, but we are going to keep King of the Hill in early access at early access pricing in order to allow us and you to test the features and provide feedback on them. We will continue to listen and read your thoughts and use it to plot the course for King of the Hill to make it as good as we know it can be. Testing the game at scale will be important, and it is not something that we can replicate within our own walls or even on the test servers. We want to be sure everything is working as intended with you prior to an official launch. It would be unfair to do anything otherwise. This update includes an updated version of the arena, the new UI, and a glimpse into the new match scoring and Twitch integration. It is an absolutely huge update, and we are expecting to bring the servers down for an extended period of time in order to line everything up properly. When we launch, I can assure you that the game will achieve the quality targets we are putting in front of us. A game that is competitive, enjoyable, consistent and fair, and as fun to watch as it is to play. I know you want nothing else in King of the Hill, and I want you to help us get it there. Fuck, that was long-winded. Sorry. I just wanted to highlight something here. Yes, I am so fucking sick of perpetual early access titles. However, the progress that I've seen from H1Z1, especially in the past month, has been pretty incredible. Still not a game for me, but that's me. And I appreciate the open-ended communication that the developers have with their community. Cough. 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 And in the vein of updates, Doom is getting its third content update, this time adding Deathmatch. Deathmatch? That thing that should have been in there from the beginning? They just added that? Moving on, Street Fighter V has also gotten an update on PCs, which essentially is malware. The anti-cheat system for the PC version had some major f***ups, which, for one, puts a file into the System32 folder, giving the program kernel level access, and making it vulnerable to more malware. I say more because this update is essentially malware. If your game is setting off antivirus and anti-malware, you f***ed up. This anti-cheat was implemented to keep players from using cheats and trainers to earn in-game currency for customers and the like, circumventing the need to use microtransactions. Capcom has since rolled back the update, and they're keeping the new content in, and apologized for the mistakes that they have made. Previously, Hidetaka Miyazaki stated that Dark Souls 3 will be the last game in the series. However, he confirmed that that does not mean he will not work on Dark Souls-like types of games, such as Bloodborne. He had this to say. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to work on a Dark Souls-like game, so I would definitely bring some of the good things. That could be some in-game elements, some of the product development experience. I would definitely bring those to a new Dark Souls-like game or Dark Souls-like franchise in the future. It could be a dark fantasy game that has an element of the accomplishment of overcoming difficulties, which is very unique to the Dark Souls franchise. No, it isn't. Anyways, his studio, From Software, is currently working on 3 games. In the nearest future, we can see 3 new titles from Software, which, side note, is one of the stupidest fucking names I've heard for a company ever. Miyazaki had this to say about the project. So there are several titles that we are currently working on. Some of those are dark fantasy, some of those could be a mech game. That's one thing. The second thing is that one of the new titles I've been working on will probably comply with the expectations from the fans in a straightforward manner. The last thing is that another title will probably be a little bit weird. When we actually announce the title, probably fans will react with, "Oh, what the hell is this very weird game that Miyazaki has created? Aren't you a special fucking snowflake?" Speaking of special snowflakes, and I actually mean this wholeheartedly and not sarcastically, Hideo Kojima had a stage presentation at Tokyo Game Show last week, in which he had some shade to throw at Konami for Metal Gear Survive. Distancing himself from the generic garbage, he said, "The Metal Gear games are about political fiction and espionage. Where do zombies fit in with that?" If Mr. I Breathe Through My Skin Kojima can't fathom the way zombies fit into that universe, or says something doesn't make sense, you know you f***ed up. Kojima also spoke about his new project Death Stranding, saying it will be out before the Olympics. To go a little further, there is a movie called Akira, and it will be out before the year in which Akira is set. Just say 2018. That was one of the most unnecessarily cryptic things I've heard in recent memory. Now look, Kojima is a treasure among the piles of shit in the wasteland of game development. With that being said, let's not hype this one up yet, shall we? I mean, let's at least wait for some gameplay footage and for us to know what actually it f***ing is. I mean, yes, he said that it's an open world, multiplayer, third-person game. That doesn't narrow it down much. So, can we all just calm our tits, yeah? Blizzard has announced that it is retiring the Battle.net name. No new name has been announced, and nothing other than the name itself is changing. The service will work as before, and no new name has been given. How is this newsworthy again? Speaking of newsworthy, some people are f***ing idiots. Shocker. In this case, I'm referring to the people who are calling Paladins an Overwatch clone, and they've been saying it so much that Hi-Rez has had to respond to the accusations. Now, before we get to what they took to Reddit to say, I've got to say something. Stop calling games Overwatch clones. It's fucking stupid. Just because a game is a hero shooter, people instantly say, oh, it's an Overwatch clone. They did that with Battleborn. They're doing that with Paladins. They're doing that with Paragon. You're all fucking idiots. Stop it. So, Hi-Rez made a post on Reddit detailing the differences and the process of ideas that shaped Paladins into what it is. And it's a really interesting read, and I highly recommend you check it out. The links are in the description below. In our final story, Ubisoft is opening a division in-house to publish books. Insert some sort of downgrade joke here. Well, that's all the news we have for you this week. Sorry about being a day late. Like I said, there was an issue with the previous recording. I've completely re-recorded this entire thing. If you want more news and less of my shitty opinions, Legolas Katarn, another AJSA commander, does a weekly write-up as well, and you can find his post linked at nearly at the top of this description. This has been Angry Army Weekly with your host, Jaysons Rage, and until next time, you all stay sexy out there.